Carolyn, welcome. I'm so glad to, hear today your experience in the Breakthrough program. We're just thrilled to have you. And so I'm going to just really, kick it off and, would love to hear how you first found out about the Breakthrough program and about Cheryl Ann.
Okay. I was just doing something on Facebook, and a Facebook thing came up, find more time in your schedule, figure out how to find that balance that you want. And I was like, I have no schedule. Every day I write down what I'm going to do for the day at the end of the day. Oh. And so it's more of a journal of what I've done that day and what I have not done that day. And so I went on to the webinar and was listening to what she had to say. And I was just like, wow, this could be really good for me. I had just come from an event that had started me on this journey of personal growth. And so it went right into where I was. It's like I experienced waking up and knowing that I'm not living to my fullest potential, and knowing that my daily schedule is just this meandering around. And so there was Cheryl Ann just speaking into what else it was that I needed. So it was like the universe said, hey, you've done this, now you need to do this. And so I went with it. And at the end of the webinar, it said to fill out this form to see, if you would be interested or if you would even be a fit for the program. And I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Let's do this. And as I was going through the questions, I was really enjoying answering the questions because they were making me really think about where I am and what it is that I want. And where I was completely still stuck in, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why my schedule still looks like this. I'm tired of saying I'm a tired mom. And so I finished out that questionnaire and I was like, okay, so then it says book a call with somebody who can talk to you about your thing. And I was like, okay, let's do this. I was nervous about booking that call. I'm like, well, they're gonna, want me to step into something, and I don't know if I'm ready to step into it. Well, Courtney calls me back, and Courtney and I don't know what it was. We just hit it off super nicely. And she was talking to me and she was sharing a little bit about where she was coming from and what she had done and how she got involved with the program. And I was like, well, that's kind of like where I am and what I'm doing, only she's a lot younger than I am. And I was like, gosh, okay. So we talked some more, and then she gave me some information to kind of chew on. And I took the information to my wife and I'm like, what do you think about this? And she's like, really, honestly, I think it's great. Anything that pulls you and stretches you and just expands this inner thinking that you have going on, the one that you don't want to share with anybody, she says, I'm all for it. She goes, because I already know who you are inside. And I was like, okay. And then so I looked at the finances and I was like, this will work really well in September. And Courtney and I talked about it, and she's like, I think it'll work sooner than that. Let's talk some more. So we talked more, and then I got on the phone call with Cheryl Ann, and Cheryl Ann and I talked, and I was just like, oh, I need this woman in my life. Like, I just want to know more. And I found myself watching her podcasts and listening and reading the emails and going through and doing the Evernote stuff. And even though it didn't stick at first, it took me a little while to get to a point where it's like, oh, writing down my day before it starts. What is that? But that's pretty much how I got involved with it. It was just like, it was a lot of conversation. I think it was a lot of helping me get out of the thought that I still wasn't worthy of it, because I was still running along the lines of, maybe I'm not worth this. Maybe this is more of an investment in me than we really need to make. And what I found is that the investment that we made in me is paying off in loads of return. Like, I feel so much different. Like, I talk to people, I'm making friends in this group. I'm talking to people, and I'm okay on camera, whereas this would never have happened before. So that Carolyn has really helped me to grow in a lot of ways, and to wrap my mind around taking care of me first. Because I'm that person who, a little while ago, if I was in the airplane and my family was with me and those air masks came down, it would be, here's one for my wife, and let me help my child. And as I'm gasping for breath and still trying to get it around my baby girl, and then I'm passed out because I didn't take care of me first, whereas I could have taken care of everybody if I took care of me first. And I never had that mentality before. And so doing that, I drink water. I didn't used to drink a whole lot of water. Like, maybe I might get 20 ounces in a week, maybe, if that much. And now I drink almost 100 ounces of water a day, and that's huge. I actually sleep at night, which is weird. And I get up early, and I have way more energy than I've ever had. And so Cheryl Ann and the group and a couple of other things that I'm doing have really seriously attributed to my life immensely.
Wow. I mean, Carolyn, that is amazing. I mean, when you look back, are there other things that, other changes in your life? Maybe it's job oriented, hobby oriented. How do you feel about your schedule now? Like, can you talk about some of those other changes that you've experienced as well?
Oh my gosh, my schedule, in working through the weeks that we've been going through, I actually found last night that I have like huge blocks of time that are no longer wasted. It's like I have like 4 hours every afternoon that is mine. It's mine to work on a business that or some marketing that we're learning how to do. It's mine to dive into a coaching program that I'm currently working to get certified in. It's allowing me to cook and feel good. So the time benefit, now I sit down at the end of my week and I schedule my next week. And every week I have these times that are blocked out that are just, okay, we're working on this day, and we're working on this day. So everything, there's time for everything. There is abundance, which is not a mindset that I used to have. And now I have that. I have more. There is more. There is enough. There is an overabundance of things. And the other thing is that I was moving towards becoming a nurse. It's been a lifelong dream, I thought. But what I found when I was going through a nursing program was that it was a lot of pill pushing, and it was a lot of working with doctors that really didn't take the time for their patients. And that was very hard for me. But I still wanted to do it. It's what I wanted to do my whole life. That has to be my dream. That has to be my purpose. And what I found is that it really wasn't my dream or my purpose. It was something that I conjured up in my childhood that I thought would benefit me and my family. But through a lot of work, I found that coaching will give me the opportunity to take what I know about food, take what I know about essential oils, take what I know about raising kids, good, bad, or indifferent. Take what I know about life in general and help somebody out there, maybe more than one somebody, but just to help somebody else not feel like they're a tired mom or they're a tired grandparent. So I could be sitting on a waiting list right now for the next 2 years of my life, just wasting my time away to become a nurse and then do 2 more years of the grunge work to get to a schedule that I liked, and be unappreciated, or I could do something that I love, which is helping people, and have time for my family, have time for me, and just enjoy helping, because I love helping people. Love that part.
Wow. What? I mean, that's amazing. I'm sure at that time, like, I bet it was a hard process to like shift from one dream to another. So talk to me about how that went. And you know, what finally got you to realize, like, wait a second, this original dream I had for myself has now evolved into something new and different.
Okay, so I feel like God kind of intervened a lot and there were a lot of stops going into the nursing program. When I first started, I waited until my daughter, who's 24, to finish up the things that she needed to do until she was in junior high school. And then I decided now it's my time to go back to school. And when I did that, we ran into a lot of issues with my 24-year-old. And she has always been that challenging child. And school was just hard. Like, I was struggling all the time with, behavior issues with her and staying up all night long to get work done. But I was still making the A's. I was still doing what I needed to do. And then after I got done with my LVN program, I didn't want to work in a nursing home. I couldn't be the only person in the nursing home that cared so much for the people. It was eating me up. So I decided to go on for my RN program. And that meant taking prerequisites, taking anatomy, physiology, chemistry, psychology, all these classes. And I did that, and I got to the end of it, and they said, great job. Now here you are, 2 years to get into the nursing program. And I was like, are you kidding me? I'm now raising my granddaughter full time. We've been raising her since the day that she was born. And I was like, okay, let's look at this. It's going to be 2 years of going to school, and all my family is going to see is the back of my head as I'm walking out the front door to head off to class or to clinicals. And I didn't want to do that to them. Sophia, our granddaughter, doesn't deserve that kind of a life. And then I started doing this growth process where I was working on me. I went to an event in Las Vegas that just opened my eyes. And then I went to another event in New Mexico that was 7 days of complete immersion. And 2 gals that I talked to out there were nurses as well. And we sat down and we mastermind. I mean, we talked about the pros and the cons, and I'm like, this is what I really want to do. And they're like, Carolyn, you're so compassionate for people, and you know so much about other ways to heal the body. You're not going to be recognized in any way, shape, or form for these things, and your patients are never going to appreciate it. And I was like, never? And she said, okay, maybe not never, but rarely are you going to find a patient that is going to follow through. And so they said, let's talk about some other things that you could possibly do that would encompass everything that you are, that intuition that you have, that gratitude that you have for life. And so we did this, and I walked away with a whole bunch of information. And I came home and I was reading Tony Robbins' Awakening the Giant Within. I was like, all this stuff, got to do. You got to get off the fence. You need to do. And then the guy who was out at this event with us, his name is Todd Campbell, and he was like, Carolyn, choose or move, choose and move, choose and move. And all this stuff is going through my head. And then Cheryl Ann, stop being so afraid to make that step. Stop waiting for that perfect progress. There's no time like now. And I got up early that morning, and on my email was this thing about become a health coach, become a life coach. And I'm like, okay, so God and the universe are talking to me again.
Right.
So I filled out the questionnaire and dialed the number, made another appointment, talked to another incredible person, took the information to my wife again, and she said, if you haven't found your purpose in life with this, I don't know what your purpose is.
Wow.
And I said, but we've invested how many hours all the time, being there for births and helping in surgeries and doing all of these amazing, wonderful things that I love doing. And she says, but you love the people part of it. Think about it. So I did. I thought about it. And then I got to know some of the people that were going into this program with me. And I was like, that's how I think.
Yeah.
That's what I love to do. And then I was talking to Cheryl Ann the other day, and I said, you made a comment about mentorship. And I said, I need a mentor. And I would have never, ever spoken up and said anything about what I need. But Cheryl Ann opened that door so wide. So on our one-to-one call, I had the option, and I opened it up, and she said yes. And I was like, oh my gosh, so it's going to be challenging, but it's exciting, because I know that once I just weed through all of this extra fear that goes on inside of me, that I really have something incredible and special to offer to other people that can help them make changes. It feels so incredible, because once you wipe out those limiting beliefs, and I came from so many limiting beliefs. And once I understood that I was the one that was placing those limiting beliefs on me, I was like, oh, here I am. I'm like ready to go and fly. Now my wife Sonia calls me a mariposa, which is a butterfly in Spanish. And she says, you are like that butterfly, that caterpillar that was just waiting. And then in that cocoon, you were just resting in all of this good stuff. And now it's like those wings are just, they're drying and they're ready to go, so that's why my coaching business is going to be called Cocoon Coaching. But we just embraced this, and I've got so much support behind me. I have a group of 49 other people that I was on this journey in New Mexico with, who have pushed me and supported me and stretched me. And I have this that's stretched me and grown me in ways that I never thought would happen. So it's like, if I can't grow now, I have major problems. I just need a psychiatrist.
Yeah, Carolyn, I have a couple of questions. So one question is like, share a bit more about the community of women in the program and what role they played in the progress that you've made.
Okay, well, we've talked about Robin, and Robin made a post a couple months back that was life-changing for me, because it fell right into the time frame of, I was reading Tony Robbins' book. Cheryl Ann was talking about being fearless and stop procrastinating. And I had just come back from this event, and Robin had posted something, and I really wish that I had pulled it up, but Robin posted something. She goes, when you find your purpose, you're just going to shout it from the rooftops. And I said, I messaged her back, and I said, when I find that, my voice is going to be so loud that you are going to hear me wherever you are in this world. And so a couple of weeks later, I couldn't find Robin fast enough. She was the one, I was dying. I'm dying to share this with Robin. And I found her and I like posted, I'm like, did you hear me screaming from the top of my roof? Robin, I figured it out. I want to be a coach. And she messaged me back. She's like, I'm so jealous. I'm like, what? What are you talking about, jealous? You helped me. These women, they're so special. There are a whole host of us, and just every day there's something, from anything from building a business plan, to stepping out of the corporate lifestyle, to how do you balance your kids? How do you balance when life starts to shake that tree so hard? But there's always somebody, and the calls are immeasurable, because it's not just the communication that Carolyn has on the screen with us, but it's that communication that's going on in the sidelines, that encouragement that's constantly happening. It's like, good win, or I'm so proud of you, or, you've got this. We had somebody that was going through, and I forgot her name. Somebody that was going through, she shows dogs, and she was having a really difficult time, but I just felt like we could all kind of move in around her and try to support her. And I'm going to cry because to support her in our little way, and we think it's little, but I know what Robin did for me. I know what Cheryl Ann has done for me, and I know what you have done for me. The community is humongous in my life, and it's not something that I take lightly. Like, to be able to go on to Facebook and share a post about, my gosh, I don't know where I went last week, but I was like lost in my own horrible thought process. But I could come here and I can say, I'm having a horrible week, you guys. And it's like, no, you've got this. You have it. We're here. Yeah. And that's very helpful. Or, hey, I don't know what happened to my emails, and somewhere along the line I got lost. I have no idea what week I'm on. I know where my homework is. But it's things like that, that offer you that support and say, you can do this, and we're going to help you move through that process and get to where you want to be. And it's going to happen, and it's going to be peaceful. It's going to be calm. And then there's going to be moments where the energy is just so high in the group, and everybody is just like, yes, you did this, or, oh my gosh, that's great. Hey, can you come and do my curtains at my house? What, that interior, that's gorgeous. It doesn't matter what it is. It's those encouragements, those, I don't want to say motivation, because I don't think any of us need motivation, but it's that inspiration, that inspirational thought, or that time that somebody took to just say, good job. Because we don't always get that. And women are normally so catty with each other. I don't know why women can't encourage each other, but in this group, that's all it is. It's all encouragement, And I think that if any one of us was really falling down on our faces, each and every one of us would be there to just swoop them back up, dust them off, say, hey, what can I do to help you out? How can I help you move forward? What accountability do you need? And it would be so accepted. You don't find that every day.
No, gosh, you said it so well. I mean, I think you've really captured the essence of just that support. And it's not a critical environment, it's positive. So, Carolyn, another question for you. I mean, when you look back at the program, was there a specific tool, that really helped, really just flipped the switch for you? Or maybe it could be several, quite frankly. When you look back, what were those moments? What was the stimulus that really accelerated your progress?
The calls, every Wednesday, are so important. Because at that point, you know for sure that you are not alone in anything that you're going through. Because if you're lost, if you're not feeling that abundance, there is somebody else in that group who isn't feeling that abundance. And Cheryl Ann pulls that back out and says, no, look, you know, there's more than enough. There's plenty. So those calls for me are so important. And there are mornings where Sophia has visitations, and so it's harder for me to pose my questions, but I still get to them if it's not in the replay, or if I can only listen and not interact. I'm still right there, because I want to be there to support the other people, the other women that are going through this. So that's important to me. That's a very important tool. The other thing was calendar control. That calendar control, like I had no idea like why. I have tons of planners and notebooks and places to write down things that I'm thinking and doing. But to put that down and say, it's on my calendar, now it has to be done. Mm-hmm. That has been extremely beneficial. And foundational practices. Mm-hmm. So if it wasn't for those things, I might still be kind of lost in the dark going, okay, well, what am I supposed to do with all this information? But no, now I don't sit there and go, where am I? What am I supposed to do? I'm at a place where it's like, okay, like today I have a friend that's going to take care of Sophia for me for a couple of hours so that I can work on the breakthrough practices and get those written down. And I'm like, I'm so excited. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what this year is going to bring for me, because it's been such an incredible year for me. If you knew me before January, this would not be what you would see at all. You would see tired and no way, I can't do this.
Well, your energy is contagious. You know, I mean, I can't stop smiling because I can just see like the excitement and the enthusiasm that you have for what's ahead. It's just incredible.
My life is just like, it's just now starting to open up. I'm like, wow, you had to wait until I was 52 years old to start this. It's like, really?
Better late than never, right?
You know what? And that's the truth. You know, where were we sitting last night? We were at Pyology, and one of the statements on their board that they have in the restaurant was, there is no time better to start something than now. And I was like, that like speaks to my life. Click, I need a picture of that.
And then you need to share it with the group, right?
Exactly. And that's where it's probably going to end up.
That's great. What would you tell someone, Carolyn, who is thinking about joining the program, but might be unsure about whether or not it's a fit for them?
You are worthy. Mm-hmm. I would tell them, guys, I think most of us grew up feeling like taking that time for ourselves was taking away from somebody else. I know I grew up that way. Most of us have this voice inside of our heads. I call it the robot voice, that tells you that you can't, you shouldn't. Somebody else could get something if you don't do this. And what I learned was there is nobody better than investing in yourself. There is nothing more powerful than somebody who is willing to work on themselves. And there is nothing more exciting to see than that breakthrough when it comes. So if you're thinking about it, I would say, just do it. Get off of the fence. Choose and move. You know, don't sit there and procrastinate over it because you don't know what will happen. Stop being afraid of it. Embrace it. learn that stretching and growing feels so good. It's like having that early morning yoga practice, and it's like, oh, I don't want to do this. I'm so tired. Then after you're done and you feel so energized and grounded and ready to go for the day, that's what Carolyn does for me, is helps me to feel grounded, helps me to realize that I already know all the answers inside of me. I just needed somebody to say, you've got this. You just need to think more clearly about this, or pinpoint it more, or stop procrastinating, stop thinking, that perfectionist. There's never going to be a better time, and it's never going to be more perfect than it is right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So just do it. You're worth it. Love it.
So beautifully said. And one last question for you, Carolyn. So, can you tell me, have you seen an impact on how calm and in control you feel during the day?
Okay, let's remind ourselves here. I have a 4-year-old running around my house, and it's so demanding. Calm is that I realized that I needed to have my me time in the morning, and Carolyn helped me build that. So I get up, and Carolyn thinks I'm crazy for this. I get up at 4:30 in the morning so that I can take that time, because if I don't, I'm frazzled by the end of the day, because I didn't take that minute to, to pray and meditate and just wrap my head around what my day is going to be. So more calm, yes, I definitely have a lot more calm. There's still challenges. There's always going to be challenges. But I'm more focused than I used to be. So when that challenge comes up, I have that ability now to recognize it, to stop. And I think we were just talking about this on Wednesday's call, knowing that this is happening right now and being able to recognize and switch it, and just realize that, take a second, take a couple deep breaths, and then move forward. It's not about trying to catch up. Don't go back and catch it up. Move forward and let it go. So yes, I have that ability now. Some days it's a little more challenging to get to than others, but at the end of it all, I know that I have more control over everything, and I don't have to listen to that negativity that tells me that I can't, and that I shouldn't, and that I won't, and all the other things. Instead, it's like, whoa, you're fearless and you've got this, So yes, I do have more focus and more clarity, probably more so now than I've ever had in my life.
Wow. Yeah, you turned your inner critic into a superhero. You're like, I'm going to dress you in new clothes.
Come here, robot. I've got a few words for you. We're moving and you don't get the address.
That's right, exactly. I'm leaving you, I'm leaving you aside. Oh my gosh. Carolyn, well, one last question. If you hadn't done this program, where do you think you would be?
Oh, I would be sitting on a wait list for the community college that's just down the road for the next 2 years, getting older and more tired, still writing my schedule out the week after it's already happened. Basically, I would be spinning my wheels, and I really wouldn't be doing anything. I don't think that I would have the growth that I have if I didn't have the constant reminder that I'm capable of it. So I don't even want to think about where I might be, because what benefit, it wouldn't even be beneficial for Sophia for me to be sitting on a wait list, because I would be feeling like I'm dragging my feet. Like there's no progress. There's no there's no success in sitting and waiting.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Well, Carolyn, thank you so much